On the Manoa campus of the University of Hawaii, on a Chaulmoogra tree, nearby Bachman Hall, you will find a bronze plaque placed there honoring the memory of chemistry professor Alice Augusta Ball and her contribution to the treatment of leprosy. Alice Augusta Ball was born in Seattle, Washington, on July 24, 1892. The third of 4 children, born to James Presley Ball Jr. and Laura Louise Howard. Her grandfather, James Presley Ball, was a noted photographer and abolitionist. He was one of the first Black Americans to produce daguerreotype photography. Her father, being a lawyer, as well as a photographer, was the editor of The Colored Citizen. Her mother also worked in photography. It has been said that her family's involvement in photography may have led to her love for chemistry, as they worked with chemicals to produce detailed images on silver-plated copper plates. The Balls were prominent members of the African American community, but in 1902, the Balls decided to move the family to Honolulu, where Alice attended Central Grammar School. James Ball Sr. was suffering from arthritis, and they hoped the warmer weather would ease his pain. Unfortunately, he died shortly after they settled. The family returned to Seattle in 1905, where Alice attended Seattle High School. After receiving top honors in science, she graduated in 1910. She went on to study chemistry at the University of Washington, earning a bachelor's degree in pharmaceutical chemistry, where she co-authored an article titled Benzoylations in Ether Solution, which was published in the Journal of the American Chemical Society. After graduation, she was offered many scholarships. She decided on the University of Hawaii to study for her master's degree in chemistry. While at the University of Hawaii, she decided to study the chemical makeup of the kava plant. The plant was known throughout Polynesia and was a common treatment for kidney disorders, headaches, and other hyperactive illnesses. Her master's thesis titled The Chemical Constituents of the Active Principle of the Ava Root, in which she described its chemical makeup and its active properties for use in pharmaceuticals. Her research caught the eye of Harry T. Hallman, the acting assistant surgeon at the Leprosy Investigation Station of the U.S. Public Health Service at the Kalihi Hospital in Hawaii. Hallman invited her to be his assistant in his research into the treatment of leprosy. The global disease of leprosy first appeared in Hawaii in 1835. It is believed Chinese immigrants who began migrating to the island in 1832 may have brought the disease along with them. The disease at that time was incurable and thought to be very contagious. Nevertheless, many of the native Hawaiians, having no immunities, were particularly susceptible to the infection. Hawaiians were suffering disfigurement and death at an alarming rate. The government, starting in 1866, began exiling mostly native Hawaiians infected with the disease to a leper colony on the island of Molokai, while non-native persons were allowed to leave for the mainland to pursue treatment. The best-known treatment at the time was Chaulmoogra oil. It was extracted from the seeds of the Chaulmoogra tree, but the methodology of its use was not very effective. It was too sticky to be used topically. Ingesting the oil often produced vomiting, and if injected, it caused blisters to form on the skin due to its thick consistency. After receiving her master's degree in 1915 from the University of Hawaii, she continued her study of Chaulmoogra oil. In her research, Alice developed a technique to make the oil injectable and water-soluble. But before she could publish her findings, she took ill and returned to Seattle for treatment. After a few months, her condition worsened. She died on December 31, 1916, at the age of 24. It is believed that she may have been exposed to chlorine poisoning while giving a demonstration during the First World War on the effective use of a gas mask during a gas attack. After her death, Ball's graduate study advisor Arthur Dean used the process she researched to conduct further trial experiments. And by the year 1919, the college was able to produce large quantities of the injectable Chaulmoogra extract. In Dean's published finding of his work as the Dean method, he deliberately failed to mention Alice Ball as the originator of the method, nor did he give her any credit for her work. In a 1921 newspaper interview, he acknowledges the work of his predecessors, including Harry Hallman and other colleagues, but made no mention of Alice Ball. Then in 1922, Harry Hallman published a paper giving credit to Ball. Throughout his article he refers to the injectable form of the oil as the Ball method. He further went on to dispute Dean's claim that his method was a refinement of Ball's method. He goes on to write that Dean's method did not offer any improvement whatsoever in the original technique developed by Ball. In fact, he went on to write that the Ball method of extraction was much simpler to administer, as opposed to the complicated distillation method developed by Dean. And although the Chaulmoogra extract was not a cure, it proved to be extremely effective in the treatment of leprosy. It wasn't until the 1940s that the first cure was discovered, and over the years, more effective drugs have been developed. As time passed on, it seemed that Alice Augusta Ball and her contribution towards the treatment of leprosy would remain mostly forgotten as she slipped through the pages of scientific history. Until one day, Catherine Takara and Stanley Ali, two professors at the University of Hawaii, uncovered the records of her research. It was decided that it was time to finally recognize her contributions to chemical science. In the year 2000, the University of Hawaii dedicated a plaque behind Bachman Hall on the only Chaulmoogra tree on the school grounds. Then in 2007, the university's Board of Regents awarded her the Medal of Distinction, the school's highest honor. 10 years later, in 2017, the Alice Augusta Ball Endowed Scholarship was established. Then in 2022, the governor of Hawaii, David Ige, signed a proclamation declaring February 28 as Alice Augusta Ball Day. And to resolve the wrongful action of Arthur Dean, who, during his lifetime, had gone on to become the president of the university. A petition was started in 2023 to rename Dean Hall to Ball Hall. But perhaps one of the greatest honors bestowed upon her was in 2019, when the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine added her name atop the main building, along with Florence Nightingale and Madame Marie Curie, adding to the recognition she deserved after her death.